I'm pretty sure those two sophomores are thinking
I
about.
really hoped I'd make it past the first week of the semester before I had to bust this thing out, you know?
People already.
Not one student.
Yeah, we have people marking, yes.
I'll answer that for you.
Health, privacy, regulations, federal prohibit me from making that observation.
Alright, so don't make the observation, write their names on the board, stop looking.
That's still me providing information that puts me in violation of federal law. I'm sure you're quite capable of looking around and figuring out if someone is here or not, though. All right. F for Friday. We're going to harmonize the baseline. I'm tired of stepwise motion. We did scales on Wednesday. Over scales. So I'd like to do some skips on my base. Let's go.
I don't.
F, D, E, C, D, B flat, C, A, B flat, B, A, F, bum, bum, and back to F, we'll end on do. Oh wait, there's still a scale there somewhere. This is not a boring scale, it's a decorated scale. I'll go with it. All right. Why don't we start with some lovely little, I like to start with thirds. I like thirds. You guys like thirds? I like thirds. Let's put a third in.
That's pretty cool.
And I'll put it up here, something because that will minimize the number of ledger lines I need to deal with this morning. Who knows a melody that would sound good against my baseline melody?
Same one. You do it six.
I could go to 6. Let's go to 6. 3 to 6. What's up to 6 from D?
B.
B flat. Yes, 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 yes. Good.
Got that way quick. It's Friday. I can't even think.
Good. Oh, and the bass goes down, and then the top line goes up, so I've got contrary motion. That's always nice. I like it.
So is it gonna be a G now?
It's going to be a G now, because that will be another third.
So you follow the pattern.
And now we've got this really cool thing because we're trading patterns. This one's skipping down by third and going up by step. This one's going up by step and going down by third. And we've got our up a step down by third pattern.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Good. So my next note should be A, B, G, A.
Let's go.
Good. Continue the pattern. I'll give you a hint. Think of blocks 2.
E, no.
A, B, G, A, F, G, E, F, D, E, C, D, B flat, C, A. Good.
Wow, we're so smart, guys.
We can recognize simple patterns. That's all for us. Actually, legit. You guys came up with that quickly this morning. I thought you were going to come up with it. So.
Hey! I hate Fridays.
But we'll try and stick the cadence. Because we do have a cadence at the end, don't we? E, F, solfege. G-do, which makes it a cantizans. Yes, yes, yes. Cantizans. Up top, C to A.
C to A?
Solfege. Solfege. Sol. A is in the key of F. Mi. Sol, mi, which is a lovely little noisons. So it gets noisons, altizons, nice little cadence happening at the end. Yeah, cool, I liked it. That's very nice. Alternating threes and sixes.
There wasn't a noise, I just said it was polygon and offline.
Altizons right here, altizons right here.
Yeah,
No tenorizons to be seen.
that's what you said.
Which means if I wanted to add another voice, what would be a good voice to add, Caitlin?
The noise on.
Put the tenorizons in that. Which would be which notes?
Re and do.
Re and do, and in the key of F, re and do are G and F, yes. That would sound good.
I didn't know how to happen.
I like it. Maybe we should keep the other voice going. Well, this measure looks a lot like this measure, doesn't it? Just transposed up a step. Which means if I added a G back here, maybe I should have a what there?
E, no, yes, no.
Here's my label block, G F.
E,
I'm gonna stack it up. A G.
Oh. I was looking at the bottom.
Stack it up again. A flat A. All right, let's examine them. Now that we've got the pattern happening, so I can skip all the way to the beginning and right forward. I'll press it from the G to the B flat. The third. Yeah. And the F to the A is a third. And my E to my G is a third. So it seems like where I'm putting sixes, I should add thirds, which means come back all the way here and up a third from D is F. And that F is going to come down to E. Good. Keep my pattern going. What am I going to put next?
D.
An E again. A third E. It's repeating enough, and then it comes down to the. And then we're gonna
D.
D to C, good.
D to
C to B, and then we're connected. Work it backwards.
That's
E,
it, that's it.
D, D, E, E,
E.
F, F.
That's what I'm at.
Yeah. All right, now we've got the big voice texture. There it is. I like it. That's a very nice big voice texture. And so it looks like we've got a principle that we can pull out of here for writing. We've got a pattern that happens a lot in music, as it turns out. By the way, I wrote the three voice texture for all of these. I didn't add my other voice in the other parts.
Are they fifth?
Do I have a fifth?
I don't know.
I added an octave. Yeah. Octaves are never interesting enough to write down. I just kind of assume I can have octaves. And so I'm not going to write octaves. But if I have an octave and a third, what other note does the overtone imply is there, even though it's not actually there, Caitlin?
Fifth.
Yes,
Hey,
it implies a fifth.
I'm having a rough morning apparently.
The fifth isn't actually there. The overtones take care of it for us, so we don't even need to worry about that fifth. But now I see that there's something really cool about the structure. Because there's some meaning attached to the chord of the fifth versus the chord of the sixth. Did we talk about this last semester? Is this new to us?
I don't know.
I do remember that we came up with the fact that there's only two different ways of having three notes. That makes everything consonant. There are only two possible consonant chord structures, the 5-3 and the 6-3. Chord of the 5th and the chord of the 6th. And you know something about the intervals involved. Because there's a reason we like to start with the 5th and we don't like to start with the 6th.
Because the 6 sounds weird, sounds unstable.
It's less stable. It doesn't fit the overtone series. And the 5th is stable.
It's partial.
So we've got these two chords and they kind of imply stability
Instability.
and instability or motion.
Is that a motive?
Instability or motion. And so one of the things we just learned about the right
Or motion?
is an unstable note resolving to a stable note, where the voice resolves up by step in the bass. 6-3 with the bass stepping up to a 5-3. The voices above, I had a 6th that skipped down to
It's down to the third.
the 3rd. Yeah, there's my 6th, my
Yeah, that's what
3rd. I could put a passing tone there as I connected from 6-5 to the 3. That would work nicely for passing tone. And the other voice moved from a 3rd to a
Step. I'm taking on a second.
steps down and lands on a F. Do. How far? Octave. So I've just learned the structure, how to write a 6-3 chord that steps up to a 5-3 chord. And then I can do it over and over and over. There's actually a term for a particular variant of this, which has chromatic notes we'll learn about later. But I think of it as like a fountain splashing, shooting up and splashing down, shooting up and splashing down from the different layers of the fountains. And so I've learned that I can go 5-3 to 6-3 and use that to climb up. Phase up by step. I've also learned this splash down, where 6-3 resolves up to a 5-3. Here the bass stays the same. Here the bass moves, splash down. And the Italians like to call this the Monte and the Fonte. Or, not the world's worst cognate, if I'm climbing up a monte, I am climbing a mountain. And if I'm splashing in a fonte, I'm splashing in a fountain. It rhymes in English too, which is super useful. At least for this bit, because later we'll learn about some schemas and we'll give them names like this. That there are some specific things we do to technically make this a monte and a fonte. But three of the biggest schemes of the theorists of the 18th century were, and they loved it because it rhymed, Monte, Fonte, Ponte, which is obviously mountain, fountain. No. Bridge.
Oh.
Ponte is a bridge.
That doesn't even rhyme.
It doesn't in English. I didn't.
Wow.
I always see if I can get somebody with inertia. Monte, mountain, Ponte, fountain, Ponte, fountain. And then we got it. Wait, there's no such thing as a fountain. We'll get to that later down the road.
Down the road.
Down the road. Later down the road.
Oh.
It's hard to pick up the consonants sometimes with this thing here, isn't it?
And it's Friday, like I said.
Oh, it's Friday.
Like like I want to be here because I love this class, but mentally, I'm not here right now.
That describes me some Fridays. So I get it. So we're learning some patterns on, and that's a particularly useful one. It's how to resolve a 6-3 chord that steps up to a 5-3 chord, because that happens a lot in music.
What am I doing yesterday?
In fact, I'll bet we can put some of our things together and just do a new baseline. We'll use some of our principles we learned about Wednesday and today to figure out how to harmonize 3 voices. Let's write a simple baseline.
Are you using the same key?
Yes, today's Friday, so we're working the key of F. Do, re, mi, fa, sol. And we'll go ahead and make that sol a stopping point. A half cadence. Stopping a little bit of a half cadence. Okay. Knowing what we know about stability and instability or motion, which of these bass notes should we harmonize with a 5-3? And which with a 6-3? Let's start from the beginning. My starting point, do. I probably want to start on a
Right.
5-3. Let's start on the point of stability. How about the sol at the end? I want to stop here. 5-3 or 6-3? 5-3, because I would like to stop on a place of stability. All right, so I'm starting here. This is my destination. And to get from do to sol, let's put what on the right? 6-3, love it. On the mi,
5-3.
you want to stop yet? Let's not stop, let's keep driving through. 6-3.
We're just gonna keep doing 6-3.
And we'll put a 6-3 here. Yep. And then we'll get off and we'll stop at 5-3. That's the world's simplest way of harmonizing a bass line. If you want to start or stop somewhere, put a 5-3 on it. And if you want to move through it with a 6-3. It's the simplest rule there is for harmonizing a bass line. It works a lot of the time.
It does not work.
It doesn't work when things start doing non-patterny things. Here the bass is doing scale. We're talking about harmonizing scales at the moment. When bass lines start skipping around, things sometimes change when they skip. We'll get there. Quite possibly, although your music may have been embellished structure. Hard to say about some. All right, so let's write some melody for us. And probably be good to start with like an octave in the third. Let's start with an octave in the third.
Okay, so start use the octave. We're gonna write it in there.
Let's put in an octave, let's put in the third. Love it. Okay.
The third one.
Now I'm gonna go up. So let's do parallel thirds. I like parallel thirds. So F to A is a third, G to
B flat.
B flat is a third,
Then C.
A to C is a third, B flat to D is a third. Now stop, because I'm moving a 6-3 up by step to a 5-3 and make it stick by renewed cadence, and which means the third is going to do what?
Or is it gonna repeat the same now? Or it's gonna go down.
It's going to go down to the octave.
Yeah, so it's going to be another C.
So D comes down to the C, and we stick with cadence. Yeah. There you go, our 6-3 stepping up to a 5-3. Good. Well, if this has the third, then the other voice should probably have the
the
sixth. Yeah, which is a six from G.
E, E.
And E, yes.
Still, I'm getting better. My brain's starting to work.
Up a six from A.
Is it D? No. Wait, what is it?
F.
A? F, yeah. Jameson Smart.
Up a six from B.
G.
G. Stop moving sixth because we're moving the sixth three over step to 5-3, and that sixth is going to come down to
The fifth. No, the
it's
third.
going to skip down to the third. So it's going to skip down from the G to the E. Let's see, I'm third. E. All right, that's yours. That works very nicely. I liked that. That's a good, that's a nice motion. Let's do something else. Let's not get off in the key of Sol. Let's keep going, just by exit.
So it's no longer.
We will stop here
On law?
on La. Sometimes you're taking the long road trip and Dad says, we've still got light, let's keep going.
So that's gonna be a 6-3 again.
So we're gonna pass through the 6-3
So
and keep going
that's
to the
a-
5-3.
That's D.
So,
C, that's a C.
help me out.
That's a third from C.
F, E, F, G.
No, A.
A, we're gonna continue the parallel sixth, and then that's, A is gonna skip to,
No, so what is the third?
because now here's our 6-3 to our 5-3 here. Which means when the space steps up from a 6-3 to 5-3, the 6
Oh, goes down an octave.
skips down to
To the
the,
octave.
the 6 skips down to the,
Third, it
Third.
goes down to the third.
which would be a
That's a D, so a third down, or wait, up, down.
third up.
Third up from D is an
Yes. Okay, parallel thirds. A, B, C, D,
E.
E. And now the third
Third's gonna
steps
go
down to
an
the
octave,
octave.
so it's going to be.
Like that.
That's what I was trying to get there, not the other part.
Well, that sounded nice.
No.
It just works.
Mhm.
5-3 will restart and stop. 6-3 on other things. Sounds good.
Not on law.
Technically, by the way,
It's probably productive.
we've got terms for this.
4, 6, 3.
Just moving 6-3s up or down together. We call forward on. They're all moving in the same direction. All moving by step. Parallel 6-3, forward on.
We learned that.
We did learn it, so we were reviewing it. Hint. It works much better if you put the 6 on top. Not only does it sound better with the overtone series, but it helps you avoid parallel fifths, which is what happens if you put the third on top. So when you're writing 6-3 chords, try to keep the 6 on top if possible. And then we learned this motion at the end. If I were in the key of D, and this were C sharp to a D, I would call that a what? T-down. Not these zones. And the E to the D, I would call it Tenorizons, and the A to the F, we call it
Oh.
altizons. And so technically I'm writing a cadence when I'm writing the 6-3 moving to the 5-3. Twist the bass moving up by step, gets a name. Which note is in the bass?
What?
The cantizons, the altizons, the tenorizons, the bassizons.
Bossizons is the base.
Are you sure?
But we don't have bossizons in here.
I don't have a bassizons. We often like to give a bassizons to bass, but we don't have
So it's
bassizons.
would it be altizon?
The bass. Tito.
That's cantizons.
Cantizons, yes, yes, yes. We've got cantizons in the bass. And so sometimes you'll hear it called the cantizons cadence. We define it based on what the bass is doing, but the actual name is called a comma. It's called a comma. And we would typically have int, put the altizons on top. Tito on the bass, and the sol, mi, or the sol, fa, mi, or even just the fa, mi. I put in the passing tone sol, fa, mi there.
Wait, so if the altizon is supposed to be on top, why do we have it in the base?
I have the cantizons in the bass.
Yes. I'm gonna stop talking through it.
It's Friday. Cool. I pulled out a whole lot more than I thought I was going to talk about this morning of that little harmonization that we started off with. I thought I was just reviewing down the third of a step scale, but it turned out there were all sorts of cool things we pulled out of that concept of 6-3 and 5-3 and cadences and the comma. Cool. So I could describe this as a 4 Bourdon leading into a comma. And that would be the schematic label on that particular phrase of music. All right, let's do something else. I'm gonna change my bass line again. I'm tired of things moving by step. Let's have them skip all over the place. We'll skip, we'll skip, we'll skip, we'll skip, we'll skip, we'll skip. Where am I? We'll skip. Go. That worked. What to do with it though? That's our bigger question. Maybe we should work backwards on this one. Let's get backwards, not working backwards on this one. Bum, bum.
Sol, do.
Sol, do. All right, we got a sol, do happening at the end, which is a, Caitlin, you've been waiting for this one. We've got a bassizons finally. Love it. So now I've got what we would call a full cadence. Because it's finally got the bassizons, it's got our full voicings happening. Cool. What would be a nice thing to have on top of the sol, do? Maybe a cantizons. Let's do a Tito. Love it. In the key of F, but not in the key of C. T, do. Love it. So bossy-zons, cunty-zons. And I'm gonna want a third, because it'll sound prettier with a third at the end. And if I want to end on a me, then that means which other zons do I want?
Oh,
Let's put an alti-zons in. I'm gonna go fa mi. Fa
Which
mi.
is the passing tone from the sol fa mi.
I should normally be a passing tone from the sol fa mi. I'm gonna do that for a reason. Yeah. All right.
It's because you have the sol already right there, the fa, and then that note is the T. So I think it'll sound pretty good.
You know, toss some tenori-zons into the mix. We haven't done 4-part writing, but we could.
Do it,
Let's do it.
which would be a re.
It'd be a re.
So now we have a sol, re,
Do.
fa, T.
Let's put that right there, right down. Oh, I've even voiced it SATB. That wasn't deliberate. It doesn't have to happen that way, but it did. And I'll bet it sounds great. That sounds about as finished as something can sound, doesn't it? It does. It's a lovely sound. All right, cool. Does anybody recognize this pattern in the bass?
Yes, it's 2 scales.
Oh, I've got the scale again.
Are you going up and forth on the page?
I can't get away from those scales. It's still got scales. It's a decorated scale. The bass jumped up a fourth and then it
And down a fifth.
down a fifth and then up a fourth and down a. We've got a pattern. We've got a pattern.
Not a pattern, but it's still 2 scales going down.
Let's see what we ended here. I ended on a nice stable place. F to F, of course, is an
Octave.
octave, and F to A is a third. And F to F is another
Octave.
octave, and if I have just octaves and a third, the overtones implies that it's a 5/3. Ending on a place of stability, I would like to end and start, of course, on a place of stability, wouldn't I?
Mhm.
Like to start in unstable places. All right, I told you I was going to teach you how bass lines worked when they jumped around, which this is. The bass is jumping. Let's figure out, I've written my zons, and that will help me figure out what type of structure I have here above it. So, C to G, how far?
C to fifth.
Fifth. Mhm. How about the C to the E on top?
Third.
Third. Ah, it's related to my 5/3 chord. It's a point of relative stability. I can jump from it. I can jump
There's
to
also
it.
one
I can
chord.
jump from it. But there's one more note. I have a 7, which is a consonance or dissonance.
Dissonance.
Dissonance. So I probably wouldn't want to stop there. It's good to move through.
Which is why
I
we
wanna
moved
stop there.
to the last note, which resolves it.
Which means technically we need to create another category of
Dissonance chord,
dissonant chords.
where 7, 4, 2, and the 6 get to be in there, technically.
4s and sometimes 6s, depending what's going on, because 6 implies motion and instability, so it might show up in dissonant chord structures. In this case, this is our first dissonant chord we're tossing at you. It's a 7/5/3. How does the bass behave in the 7/5/3?
No, it's good. It's good. It's all right.
Does it move by step?
Yeah.
It skips. Up a fourth, or if I had written sol do down, it would have gone down by fifth. So the bass here moves up by fourth or down by fifth. Bass pattern. And it resolves on a moves to 5/3. Okay. Look at this bass. G to C. Let the bass move.
Are you asking us a question?
You move down a fifth. Do I know anything about what I can do if a chord moves down by fifth in the bass?
You can.
I could use a 7/5/3, jumping down by fifth to land on a 5/3,
Which is
which includes the category of
an op. No.
a 5/3 plus a seventh. The seventh serves as a destabilizing influence. I wouldn't want to stop there. But it's stable enough that I can jump onto and away from it. So I can put a 7/5/3 here. Ooh. D to G, how far? Up a fourth, which means that that could be a 7/5/3. Oh, and this could be a 7/5/3. And this could be a, and this could be a, and that would sound lovely. Now I'm doing this in a three-voice texture. I'm playing the fifth, which means I'm going to leave the fifth out of everything. The overtones will take care of the fifths for me. Go back to my two-voice texture. All right. G. What is up a third? What is up a seventh?
B flat.
From a G, a B flat and
F.
F.
Dude, I was almost so ready to agree with you though.
I already have a B flat.
Be natural then. I don't know.
I don't have to move that one. It can just stay there. And my, oh, do, ti, do. Love that voice. That's a great voice.
That one stays the same.
Let's check this out here. Where's my, there's that, there's the third.
A, B, C. Wait, that makes no sense.
Where's it? Come on, this one, there it is.
We're on the third.
Of course, if I'm in a jazz context and I'm redefining 7/5/3 chords to be a stable chord, then I could end it on a
Okay, but I'm confused.
seventh at the end by instead of going T do, staying on a T, and that would sound something like this. Oops. Nice jazz chord. Throw a few more. Cool. This particular motion is called the 2-5-1. It's the heart of jazz music. It's a 7/5/3 chord on Ray, jumping to a 7/5/3 chord in soul, jumping to a 5/3, or in jazz, 7/5/3 chord on 1. And it's the fundamental structure of jazz harmony.
Okay, but I have a question.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm missing here,
Hmm?
but technically, for the altizons,
Mhm.
from the basizons, that C is not a third from the B flat. Really, it's like farther.
Yes, the C to B flat so far.
Uh,
Yes,
But then where's our third?
C to E so far.
Damn it. Why is it so hot? Never mind.
No, I'm always happy to stop, and oftentimes I'll just be a little, did you notice this type of thing? And then it clicks, and that's called teaching.
I'm getting really frustrated with this class right now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm just feeling stupid this morning.
Which means, did you know what happens when you're feeling stupid?
I'm learning.
You know how your muscles hurt when you've exercised them?
Yep.
Stupid is the brain equivalent. Your brain hurts. We have the unfortunate habit in our Western society of labeling that feeling of I am exercising and I'm having to think about things and think differently about things. We have decided to call that I feel stupid and put a negative label on it, which immediately halts learning.
Mm.
That's a wonderful feeling. I didn't know this. There's so much I didn't know. There are things I need to learn. That's a growth mentality there. You put a label on it and you start negativizing the feeling of mental exercise. At that point, we stop making the progress. Just like if you don't push past the pain when you're exercising, you go out of shape. It's a similar thing. So feel free to say, I feel stupid, and then immediately realize what that feeling is and say, and that's a good thing. Yeah. I try to feel stupid at least once a day. All right. So I've got 251 here, and with this motion now, I know how to play jazz. Let's see, let's put on a 251 here. 2, 5, 1, and let's make that a 2, 5, 1, and then let's make that a 2. And I'm off and rolling. It's such a powerful schema. Yeah. Let's trace the things here. Baseline, re, sol, do. Notice something interesting about this. I have a re do, which is a what zons? Tenorizons. And I have a sol do, which is a bossizons. So my bass has given me both the tenorizons and the bossizons all at the same time. We call this a hybrid cadence because it has both the re do in the bass and it has the sol do. It has both. Hybrid cadence. And I can put sevenths on those if I wish. In jazz, I might put a seventh there. All right, let's look at the other voices. Fa, fa, mi. Which zons? It's got an altizons, so we'll toss some altizons above it. Fa, fa, mi. My other voice, dum, bum, bum. Do, ti, do, which is a antizons. Notice this do is dissonant, isn't it? Re to do, how far? Well, it's a whole step down, or it's a seventh up. Yes, yes, yes. Which is a dissonance. We're not used to having dissonant do's, are we?
No.
We're used to do's being stable. Unbeknownst to us, we've dissonantized our
But
do.
isn't it only dissonance because of
And it wants
the
result in.
overtones with the fa and the re?
Yeah, especially the overtones with the re, the bass note. It clashes with that. So it's a dissonance. Which means it wants to resolve, and we know sevenths like to go down because we've had 7, 6 suspensions. That want to go down. When I have a cadence that has a dissonant do resolving to a T, and then back to the do, this noise on here, with dissonant do. We call that a compound cadence. Because it's made out of two parts. It's made out of the part that goes T do, and it's made out of the part that goes do to T. So I compounded the cadence. I can do that without skipping to re in the bass, by the way. Re, re, do, and then put my. What did I do wrong? There it is. Parallel thirds. Love that. Re, do, fa, mi, parallel thirds. And then I just dissonant do to the T, back to the do. And that would be my basic compound cadence. I'm coming down and I pause on the re and go do, T, do. Well, that's happening. If I want, I can make it a hybrid compound cadence by having the bass go re, sol, do underneath that, and then we've got jazz. Cool. All sorts of fun things with cadences. Let's continue it back and let's see how easy jazz piano is, if you know what you're doing. What's up with third and seventh from D?
Third from D is,
Third from D is F, yes.
seventh is a C.
C. So I need an F and an O. Look at that. I've already got an F. Let's keep the F the same. And then I'll have my C step down to the B flat. Oh, I see a pattern.
So we're gonna have another C.
Same note,
Let's go up to
moves down, moves down, same note. Trace it back. This C should be a what back one? Another C, same note.
Let's go up to D.
And then it's going to have gone down, so I'll have a D there. And then it will have been the same note. Stop there because we have to start the motion at some point. All right, so this was the same note, F, F, which means before this, it would have been a G, which would move down. And that would have been a G, the same note. And then it would have been A, yes. And even above an F, I can have another A. Same note, moves down, same note, moves down, same note, moves down. Resolve the cadence. All right, now I just need to start things off. On the 5/3 chord, I've got an F, I've got an A. What's going to be the closest note to that D? A C. Let's put the fifth in. If I wanted to, I could even start off with the 5/6 motion and then keep it as a suspension. That would work fine. 5/6 motions are always the nice ways to start making music. And then to, where are we? There it is, to the. How easy was that for me to play just now?
Easy.
Super easy. I'll let that one move. One note moved, the other one stayed the same. That note stayed the same, the other one moved. That note stayed the same, the other one moved. I'm only having to move one note at a time in my hand. It's like a piano. I love this. I can do this. Move the top one, move the bottom one, move the top one, move the bottom one. Then all I gotta do is toss in my bass line. technical name for this whole thing where the bass is moving up by fourth, down by fifth. Falling fifths. The end of which is specifically the 2-5-1, and that is jazz harmony right there. You just learned jazz harmony today. There's more to it than that, but that's the basics. We're out of time. This was a good review / new material this week. We'll continue with our 3-voice writing on Monday. Have a lovely weekend.